Welcome to Transits Friday. So let's talk about what's happening in the sky and what we can do with these energies in the most constructive, positive, and growth enhancing way. So this is constructive astrology, and that's the perspective that we have in these channels. So let's have a look. So from Friday today, the 12th, until next Friday, what is there in the sky? So I'm going to share my screen and show you what the transits are. But just as a little intro here, this is a very quiet week. We're just coming out of a new moon. So there was a new moon yesterday at 20 degrees Capricorn. How was that for you? Did you set some intentions? Do you feel the Capricorn energy beginning to really pick up, even though we've been on Capricorn season for a bit already, but with some other planets moving to Capricorn as well, we might be feeling more and more this energy and this sense, and with the planets moving ahead as well, this sense of being able to move ahead, or at least to have the visions and to have this sense of what it is that we want to accomplish. What sort of goals do we have? Are they grounded enough, or are we dreaming a little bit too high and too, with things that we can't really turn into reality? So this Capricorn energy is really helpful for that. And this week it will still be emphasizing that with Mercury moving to Capricorn as well. So this is one of the main transits this week. And then we have a few trines in this square that I want to talk about, in special on the 18th and the 19th of January. So let's have a look. Let me share my screen. And as usual, let me know in the comments, how was this new moon for you? What did you set, in terms of intentions, in terms of reflections? What was going on there for you? I have moved into an Airbnb for a few weeks, so I'm not on my flat anymore. You can see behind me there is a bit of a different background. I'm in a flat. It's still in São Paulo, and it's still quite central as well, but it's in a different area, which is very interesting, really, to see the city from another perspective, and from a very high up perspective, because I'm on the 19th floor. That's just really, really high. I confess, much more than a beach person, I'm more of a mountain person. So that's a kind of a strange mountain to be in, like a, concrete kind of mountain. Nevertheless, I love being amongst clouds so much. I'm gonna post a picture of the window and this peculiar view full of buildings and this sort of like concrete jungle type of thing. I will post that in the community, so you guys can have a look as well, for the ones that are curious. But that's what happened to me. And I also had day one of my cycle just a couple of days before the new moon. So I'm very, very aligned with the new moon and the sense of going inwards and reflection and planting seeds and all of that as well. So I'm working a lot on a material about tarot and astrology. This is as much as I'm going to share with you now, but I'm very excited about. I love diving into new subjects, as in, like, I know tarot for a very long time. I've got my first tarot in 2009, but to mix them and to create a set of classes and things, and to create a system for us to follow so I can share these knowledge with you, really, really excites me and excites my Mercury in Virgo. So I'm very excited. I'm doing a lot of research, reading great material about, but also just looking at my cards, a lot, and share in the comments with me as well if you're interested in tarot, if you read tarot as well, and what's your relationship with that. I particularly love the imagery in the cards. So it's not really about the fortune telling aspect of it. Like some people say, I've had people commenting in the past that tarot is less effective or less respectable than astrology, because astrology requires a lot of more study, and you need to know what astrology means. Whereas if you pick a few cards, you can have a feeling about that image. But I love it. There's a phrase I found. I mean, I'm digressing a little bit. I'm sorry. There will be timestamps, I promise. You can skip ahead if you want to. But I love this idea that I got the quote. So the imagination as the gateway between men and gods. So the more we respect and we feed our imagination and, we really step into this world, the closer we are to the divine. And that's divination for you, right? As a relationship, a connection to the divine, to the gods, to this other realm, to knowing without knowing, to different ways of perceiving and acquiring knowledge or knowing about something, understanding or getting insights about a situation or about ourselves and etc. And I just love it. I just love it. I just think the cards, they are really great at doing that because the images are so evocative. And you've got a chart right in front of you with me sharing the screen. And for me, obviously, this is very evocative, but it took me years to master what this picture is telling me. And I remember the first time that I could actually see a chart as a unit, and that picture jumped at me. But it took quite a few years, whereas the tarot is there and we can see those pictures and can really feel that almost immediately, depending on how intuitive you are naturally, or not. Anyhow, I'm super digressing. So let me go back to the Transits Fridays. I am Fernanda Paiva, Hitchhiking Stars, by the way. So welcome back. If you've been here before, welcome. If this is your first time, and I hope you keep coming back. Share in the comments if this is your first time and where you found me and where you are as well. I love, love, love building a sense of community, being supportive, and etc. So negative comments or people being disrespectful to other people, they're just blocked and deleted. There's a tarot reader I follow on Instagram and I love her work as well, and she said blocking is the new black tourmaline. And I love that. Like, and as a host in a channel, I think that's brilliant. Anyhow, let's have a look at the transits of this week, which is what I promised you I was going to do. And this is what we're going to look at. So today, the 12th of January, you can see already Mercury is at 28 Sag. So we're like traveling the last 2 degrees of Sag for Mercury. And also, excuse me. Also, we can see Mars trine Jupiter. Now, this trine is still going to be an orb, even though it has kind of perfected already. I think this energy of Mars trine Jupiter in Earth signs is still very much under the spotlight for this week. So this is one of the trines that I want to talk about. Not the only one, but one of the trines that will be definitely part of these week's energy that we can tap into, that we can navigate, that we can take a ride with. All right. So where we will see, so this is Saturday tomorrow, 29 degrees Sag. You can see the moon in Aquarius. I don't focus on the moon so much unless there's like obviously full moons, new moons, which I think are very, very important. But otherwise, we have passing moods with the moon. So I don't usually look at them as much. We'll have a moon Saturn conjunction on Sunday. Again, it could be a passing mood about what we've been dealing with in terms of Saturn and the transits that we're having of Saturn in our charts. As usual, bring this to your natal chart, make it personal. The more you weave these patterns into your natal chart, the more personal your interpretations will become, the more you can own these energies and know what to do with them from a more personal perspective rather than the general, all right? But it is on Sunday that we have Mercury moving to Capricorn as well. So this is one of the big news of this week. So we already had so Sun entering Capricorn in December, but then we've got Mars entering Capricorn early January, and now we have Mercury following it right behind. And it's the shift of the mind as well. It's like our energy levels have shifted slightly, a week ago or so when Mars entered Capricorn. But now with Mercury moving into Capricorn, our minds are kind of catching up with as well. So we're perhaps having a little bit more clarity about material things, about goals, about what makes us tick in terms of our ambitions, in terms of what we take seriously, what's important to us as well. if after the holidays is being a bit difficult to go back into a rhythm, and I can say that I've been finding a little bit challenging to go back into a rhythm, a work rhythm. I had to move a little bit as well, and etc. Well, I think Mercury and Capricorn will definitely give us a little hand here on focusing, making plans, making lists, learning something important. And it will also be a revisiting somehow, like revisiting some of the topics that we had to go back when Mercury entered retrograde in Capricorn as well. Which I'm pretty sure was in December as well, sometime. So Mercury entered Capricorn and went retrograde, and then at some point went back to Sagittarius, and now we're moving back to Capricorn. So we're kind of being able to pick it, where we left. Let's get it again. Let's go back into that chain of thought. Let's go back to thinking about these subjects, these ideas, these things that we had to leave it for a little while, that we had to somehow correct it, or, something like that. So I think this week, this is one of the big things. And with that, I go into my second elected transit here to talk about, which is, the formation of this slow conjunction between Mercury and Mars. It won't perfect this week, but we can feel this energy already. So we have Mercury approaching Mars, but we also have them within orb to trine to Jupiter. So again, I think it's still a very blessed week for treading ahead, for thinking about the future in a way, and being very practical about the things that we want to get done, about the goals that we have, about the lists, the things, activities that we need to focus, that will take us places. It's like being very savvy with this energy. Take a ride with this energy and try to be practical about the things that you've been wanting to accomplish. I think we can also take a ride with this new year energy and this idea of setting goals for the new year. What do you want to accomplish for 24? And taking steps towards the goals that we set on this new moon, during this new moon. What were you daydreaming about? What did you want to do? What did you think about in terms of new beginnings, seeds, and etc.? So I think that Mercury, Mars, Jupiter can be a wonderful placement for us to start heading towards that direction more and more, thinking about that more and more as well with Mercury in Capricorn. And we know the more we think about something, where attention goes, energy flows, right? And so then we end up manifesting that very same thing. So I think being practical and thinking about the things that are very important to you will be highlighted this week in terms of constructive astrology and using this constructively. Also values, because that's Jupiter in Taurus, thinking about your values, focusing on your values, etc. Now, the other, and I mean, before I move to the other energy, this very same energy of the trines here are also sextile to Saturn. So Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn. It has to do with boundaries, structures, but also accomplishments, harvest, if you do the hard work, etc. So Saturn is in a supportive aspect, a supportive dialogue with Mercury and Mars, and that Jupiter as well. So again, that is a bit of a blessed energy to accomplish, to do, to achieve. And even if you're feeling very low in energy, like some of us are, there's no problem with that as well. But make some plans, make some lists, think about what's achievable, what's not. Think about the future and where do you want to be in a few months' time, so you can start putting these energy into practice somehow, even if it's just by writing in your journal and creating a vision board, etc. Now the other energy that's there as well, and we can already kind of see here on Monday, is by the moon coming close to conjoin that Neptune, is Venus coming towards a square to Neptune as well. So we've got these planets near Neptune, and I think most of the energies of January will kind of have this duality between the strong earthy trines and, you know, that sense of accomplishments, etc., all the earthy things that I just talked about, and the Neptune, the Neptunian emphasis, and perhaps even the Saturn, you know, the ruler of the Capricorn planets being in Pisces reflects a little bit this energy too. So we have the earthy, what's doable, what's feasible, with the Neptune daydreaming, imagination, inspiration, being creative as well, etc. So that's there as well. Now, obviously, because it's a square, here we have, look, Wednesday, 23 degrees, Mercury approaching that trine to Jupiter, as well as same time, Mercury is in a sextile to Saturn on Wednesday. Here we go, 24, that's very close. And we also have Mercury very close to that Jupiter. In fact, we have Moon activating the earthy trines as well. So Thursday could be a very, very interesting day for this week, for a combination of doing these things, planning ahead, moving forward, etc., etc. And Venus is very, very close to that Neptune as well. So wonderful day to practice compassion, forgiveness, letting go, you know, moving forward about something. I mean, Venus is ruling that moon, Jupiter, and Uranus as well. And in fact, Venus and Jupiter are in a mutual reception as well. They're on each other's signs. So they have a special connection here as well during this time. So it's really being strongly grounded in our values, but also going beyond certain limitations, going beyond certain resentment. I think Venus Neptune is wonderful for forgiving, for letting go, for moving ahead in that way. Because being angry and resentful at someone or somebody or something in our lives really holds us back. It doesn't really create any problems to the person or the situation or anything else more than to our own selves. So I think that Venus Neptune square could be a great time for us to move ahead from it, move beyond, move on. I mean, and also Pluto, Sun coming very, very close to Pluto, which will perfect on the 19th of January, which is next Friday. So I think that can also be, you know, whenever the Sun conjoins the planet, is throwing that spotlight into that planet. So it becomes very powerful, or the energy of the planet becomes very powerfully present in our lives as well during that day or a couple of days. So the constructive way to use that Sun Pluto is to purify, is to let go of toxic things, toxic people, toxic ambitions, you know, with the Capricorn there, and like searching for power's sake, and you know, and sort of finding a way to regenerate our ambitions and our goals and our relationship to power as well. I think this can be all happening next Friday. And obviously that is the day that Mercury and Jupiter will perfect the trine as well. So it's a very interesting day. It looks quite, and the perfection between Venus and Neptune as well, for inspiration and etc. Invoking beauty in our lives, using that creatively, being inspired, going to ballet, going to some sort of art exhibition, and really absorbing that as well, bringing that into your life, making that, you know, fueling your own inspiration in your life. What inspires you to do the work that you're doing? Why do you want to do what you're setting yourself out to do, you know, and finding the meanings as well behind with that Sagittarius and Pisces, which are both ruled by Jupiter. So this is it. I'm already like focusing a lot on Friday, but next Friday, guess what? I'll be back. So I'll be sharing a little bit more with you about the transits of next Friday until the other Friday, because I'm always here for Fridays, transits Fridays. And let me know in the comments what's going on with you, what's been up, how was that new moon, what would you like to see me talking about as well? If you have any subject that you're particularly interested, let me know about your connection with tarot as well, if you know, you feel called, if you use the cards, if you've seen the cards, if you have a deck of your own or not, if you have a favorite one. Let's talk. Let's talk about it, because it's all about dialogue and conversations. So this is it. I'm wishing you all a wonderful week, productive in whichever way suits you for this week. And I'll be seeing you all next Friday. So take care, and I'll see you all then. Bye bye now.